So I'm willing to bet since you clicked on this video, you're probably struggling with motivation and being able to stay consistent when it comes to working out and fitness. Maybe you've seen some results in the past, but you just weren't able to stick with it because it was done through an unsustainable way. You weren't able to stick with it because you didn't like going to the gym, you hated the food you were eating, and you just felt it wasn't worth it. The sacrifices you were making just wasn't worth the goal. So you probably know what it feels like to be able to lose some weight and then gain it all back. Maybe you start building some muscle, then lose it all in just a couple months. Doing this multiple times can really cause a lot of stress for people and make people feel really discouraged and that fitness is just not for you. I know how it feels to grind in the gym day after day and not see results as well. I was constantly questioning whether or not it was even worth it because I felt like I was working so hard and my hard work wasn't paying off. So I just thought it was my genetics or that I just wasn't cut out to get into shape. And I felt hopeless and depressed. So if you're going through something similar where you don't necessarily feel as confident about your body as you would like, but at the same time can't find motivation to work out and go to the gym on a consistent basis, then I really think this video is going to be able to help you a lot. So before I get into everything, just know that you absolutely can figure it out and you can achieve the body you want. But what you need to understand is that it takes a very long time, or can take a very long time, I should say. But what it really comes down to is just you being able to stick with it. However, in order to be able to stick with it, it needs to be a sustainable process that you don't hate, that you actually enjoy. If you can figure out how to implement this properly, it can really change your entire life. And I'm saying that from experience because I made a video the other day saying how fitness changed my life, or saved my life, I should say. So I know how it feels, man. Also, what you need to understand is that if you just accomplished your fitness goals on the first attempt, without going through any sort of hardships and you just accomplish it right off the bat, I'm sure you wouldn't appreciate it as much as you will next time you go for it and accomplish your goal. I mean, you've probably heard it before, but your struggle is your story. For me, it took countless trial and error periods to finally figure out how to get into shape and crack the code. And I'm no better than you. We're no really different than you either. All I did was just stick with it. Maybe you're earlier on in your journey than I am right now. So that's why I can say from experience that you can figure it out. Because if I can figure it out, anyone else can. Okay, so now that you understand that you absolutely can do this and you can achieve your goals, now we need to understand why people are struggling with motivation and consistency when it comes to working out. This is important to understand because this is the main problem we are trying to solve, right? Because if you think about it on the other side of the spectrum, that if you loved working out, loved eating healthy and whole foods, then you probably wouldn't be watching this video right now because you wouldn't have any issues to stay motivated or consistent or reach your goals, because you would enjoy the process. It sounds pretty obvious, but it definitely holds value here. So first, from my experience and also what I observed from others, is that a lot of people are focusing on the wrong goal, or the wrong types of goals, I should say. You see, most people are focused on losing X amount of weight in X amount of time frame, which isn't a horrible approach, but if it hasn't worked for you in the past, there's probably a reason why. And there's probably something that needs to be changed here with your goal setting, I should say. You see, these are output-based goals, which I'm not a fan of because they imply that you are not going to be happy if you don't achieve that output in that time frame. So let's say you want to lose 15 pounds in 8 weeks, but 8 weeks goes by and you only lose 12 pounds. That's still 12 pounds. That's still great results. And 12 pounds in 8 weeks, that's still fantastic. But since it's not 15, you might feel discouraged or just feel upset that you didn't hit your actual goal, even though you came a long way. That's still phenomenal progress, but let's take it a step further. It's still good to have output-based goals just as a sense of direction, but they're not going to be the type of goal that sets you up for success. So this is a mindset shift that you really need to implement right now. So going back to the previous example, so instead of trying to lose 15 pounds in 8 weeks, let's just say you come up with the daily activities that you would need to do consistently for a long period of time to get you closer to losing weight. That's it. Very simple. You see, the daily activities should be the goal, not the end result. Every day that goes by where you smash your workout, you get all your meals in, you go to bed at a decent time, that should be a win for you, knowing that you're getting 1% closer every single day. That is what you should be proud of. You should be proud of yourself for committing to those activities. So you might be asking, how can this actually help with motivation? One, because it makes the goal not seem as overwhelming. If you just set a goal that's 8 weeks out, that seems like a pretty big task to accomplish, as opposed to just breaking it up in super small increments and going at it bit by bit. So a really fundamental piece here is to detach yourself from the outcome and just focus on the inputs. Focus on what you can control. Just focusing on the outputs, the end result, is going to make your goals seem very daunting and overwhelming, and it's going to make it seem like it's going to take ages to get there. I mean, it is going to take a long time to get there, but that's why you need to break it up in super small goals, daily goals. even weekly goals. So just focus on the inputs and everything else will fall into place. I promise that will completely change your outlook on how you see goal setting. The next piece is that you need to make the process sustainable. I know I've talked about this a lot, but if you really want to get into shape, then the process absolutely has to be sustainable. Because if it's not sustainable, you are going to keep spinning your wheels over and over. Fitness is a long-term game. It's something you need to implement into your current lifestyle. It cannot be a drastic change in your life. Because if something was sustainable and you enjoyed it, again, you would have no issues staying motivated and consistent with that. And this is a key concept to apply to not only fitness, but also any aspect in life. If you want to achieve anything great in life, it's going to come from doing the daily activities over a very, very long period of time. So you might be asking, how do you actually make the process sustainable and enjoyable? Well, it's all about gradual changes at the end of the day. You don't just wake up one morning, start working out for 2+ hours a day and prepping 6 meals a day. Like when you've only been eating fast food previously, not prepping any meals, and going to the gym maybe once a week. You see, that's not going to be a sustainable change. That's going to be way too drastic. But that's a huge mistake a lot of people make because they want to get results as quick as possible, which I'm all for. I'm impatient myself. I want to get results as quick as possible. However, in order to do that, it would need to be a sustainable process. I mean, yeah, you can get great results super quick, but you're just going to lose the results if you get them in an unsustainable way. And start working your way up as time goes by. Maybe start with just going to the gym 3 times a week, and then maybe cooking 1, maybe 2 meals a day. And then slowly start building up upon that. And a huge misconception people have is that healthy food has to taste bad, or healthy food doesn't taste good. It has to taste bland. And that's just not the case. Like, there are so many great recipes out there, or like if you just invest in like an air fryer or something like that, there's plenty of complex carbohydrates that you can eat that are very healthy and still taste very good. You see, it's a huge misconception because a lot of people focus or think that fitness, in order to get into shape, you have to eat 6 meals a day of chicken, broccoli, and rice. And in order to get into shape, that's not the case. Maybe if you want to be a top bodybuilder, then you probably do have to think like pretty extreme stuff like that, but that's not what we're going for here, right? And I could probably make an entire video on how to make healthy food taste good. In fact, I probably will do that eventually. But going back to the original point, you do have to make small adjustments. At the start, you have to make small adjustments. And over time, the adjustments will become bigger and bigger as you start building that resilient mindset. You see, a huge mistake I see a lot of people make is making such great drastic changes right at the start. And they'll do crazy shit like crash dieting, which, I mean, yeah, you can lose weight crash dieting, but you're not going to be able to keep the results off or keep the weight off. It's not going to work like that. How do I know? Because I've seen it firsthand and also experienced it firsthand. I've been there. Okay, so we have focusing on the inputs and like what you can control, as well as making the process sustainable. But this last thing is probably the most important thing, and it's going to tie everything together. And it's been an absolute game changer for me. And it has caused me to absolutely love the process of fitness, staying healthy, and working out, getting in shape, and everything like that. And that is focusing on just your own progression as an individual. That might sound pretty vague, but hear me out. You see, humans get pleasure out of progressing in things. In a lot of cases, even more pleasure than they do actually achieving the outcome. So once you start seeing results through a sustainable way, you see those changes in your body on a week-to-week basis, then you are going to become addicted to working out. I can promise you that. For me, it got to the point once I started like seeing some actually good results. I was starting to get, I saw the veins in my biceps. I was starting to see my abs for the first time. That was when I just completely fell into love with fitness, which took me about 2 years. So hopefully it doesn't take you that long. But again, once you stick with it and start seeing those results, then you will love it. You will love the process. Like for me, it's gotten to the point where I would rather, stay at home, eat healthy, work out, get my sleep in, than, go out and party and drink. Just because I know the following day that I'm going to feel like shit and not be able to progress by 1% that following day. Not saying you have to give up absolutely everything that you enjoy in life, but that's just what I did because I am so addicted to the process and progression. I know that if I go out drinking and get fucked up, that I'm going to feel hungover the next day, tired, not going to want to work out, probably not going to eat as much as I should because my stomach's going to feel like shit from all the alcohol the previous night. And it's just not an optimal environment for building muscle or losing fat if you're constantly feeling like shit. So for you, I would say just moderation if you want to do those things. I would say if you go out, if you like to drink and like party and stuff, I would say try to limit it to once a month. Once a month max. You see, I'm so addicted to seeing the results, even though they're very slow at this point for me because I've been doing it for so long, like 7 years. In my opinion, this should be the end goal, to love the process and love seeing your own progression. The effect that this will have on you mentally is like nothing else. And this is applicable to any other thing in life because if you're willing to outlast the sucking phase and get to the point where you love the process because it's sustainable and you enjoy it, and you're able to make it to the other side, then you would genuinely feel so proud of yourself. You would genuinely love working out, and this can only be done if you make it through that first initial sucking phase. So you need to understand that it's gonna take a while. Hopefully not 2 years for you like it did for me, but it'll all be worth it once you can make it to the other side. So if you just apply the 2 points I mentioned previously and get to the point where you love seeing the progression and the process, then you will never have to struggle with motivation or being consistent when it comes to working out. So guys, I really hope this video helped you a lot because I wish I had someone tell me these things when I started, because it would have saved me so much time and set my expectations right. Because I was so frustrated that I wasn't seeing the results that I was expecting. I would just see these people online just talk about fitness, things like that, when they already look phenomenal. But my brain didn't understand that they've been doing it for years and years, and it took them forever to get there. I thought there was something wrong with me, but there really isn't. And there's nothing wrong with you either. You're just early in your process, in your fitness journey, I should say. So that's it for this video, guys. Just know that you absolutely can make this work. It's going to take time. It's not going to be easy, but if you just stick with it and implement the things I talked about in this video, I promise your entire life will change, and only great things will come to you if you continue to stick with fitness and make it to the other side by outlasting the sucking phase. So I will see you in the next one, guys.